Shuklam Varadharam Vishnam Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Om. Dear friends, welcome to the study of the Yoga Sutras. We were reading the sutra number 19 of second pada, that is Sadhana pada, 19th sutra, that is Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, Alingani, Guna Parvani. So that was the sutra. So we were just talking about the Sankhya Siddhanta, 24 tattvas, which they talk about. All the 24 tattvas are told here. In the order of gross, they first mentioned gross to subtle, subtle to subtler, subtler to more subtle, etc. So Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, Alingani. So in four categories he is describing. Vishesha is where the gunas, the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas are manifest. Their characteristics are very, very clearly manifest. Vishesha, we are all Vishesha in all of us, in all the things which we see on earth. In the universe, let us say, in all the things which we see, there is what is called sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. So these are the visheshas where these things are manifest. Avishesha are that is the stage where these gunas are not yet manifest. They are still there. It is somewhat like a seed. You don't see the tree in the seed. You don't see the flowers, fruits, etc. So like that, it is in that avishesha state. And prior to that avishesha state, there is what is called lingamatra. Lingamatra means the first manifestation, the first appearance, what we call Hiranyagarbha in Vedanta and what they call Mahat in Sankhya Siddhanta. So that Alinga, that not Alinga, Lingamatra. Then much subtler than that is Alinga. Alinga means that which cannot be seen but cognized by the senses, which cannot be known by the senses. That is what is called the Pradhana or Prakriti or these two are the words here, Pradhana and Prakriti. So that is what is called Alingam. Why is it called Alingam? Because there is no indication of that. Na lingam, nagamayati iti alingam. There is no, it is not giving any indication of its presence. So that is why it is called Alingam. So we were seeing this sutra, we were somewhere in the middle of the commentary. We were seeing this commentary. I will just share the text now. Share. Yeah, that red line, that red beginning, that is where we stopped. Prior to that, what did we see? Prior to that, we saw what are Visheshas, what are Avisheshas. The Tanmatras are Avisheshas, Tanmatras are not seen. It is only when the Tanmatras, they combine among themselves, then this Prithvi, all the Panchamahabhutas, they appear. And again, similarly, from the Tanmatras only, our mind and the senses they have also evolved. So these are the things which we saw. The stages, Vishesha, Lingamatrani, Padaparvani. So we call them qualified, unqualified. Vishesha is qualified, where all the gunas are seen. Unqualified, Avishesha, where the gunas are not seen. Mere distinct, just appearing, that is Lingamatra. Indistinct is totally Alinga. Then we saw, then what else Tanmatra explained? Tatha Shrotra Tvak Chakshuddhifa Granani Buddhendriyani. How these Buddhendriyani and also Karmendriyani, they have evolved from the Tanmatras and the five Bhutas. So that is what we saw. Then again, Shad Avisheshaha. What are these Avisheshaha? Where the gunas are not manifest. Shabda Tanmatra, Vanda Tanmatra, all the five Tanmatras. Plus, then what is this? That the Aham, Asmita. Asmita is another one. So Shashtrasya Visheshaha Asmita Matra iti. Asmita is that I, the notion of I. I is that Ahankara, what we call Ahankara in Vedanta. Here also Ahankara also is used, Asmita is used. Asmita is basically the responsible for the entire creation of all these things. You see, from Asmita only, all these body, all these limbs and all these sense organs, they have come into existence. Why? Because when that notion of I comes, Then what happens? I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to eat it, I want to grab it. So I develop hands, I develop mouth, I develop teeth, I develop various organs. So that is how this notion of I is basically responsible. That is basically the will, as they call will. It is also translated as will. That notion of yes, I have to exist. So it is somewhat, it is almost close to. I sometimes feel that all this, what is this doctrine of evolution and all that. They must have definitely got the idea from such writings in our say philosophical thought. So these five tanmatras. Then when we also talk about the resolution of all these things, because we talk about the Srushti, Sthiti, Laya, because Srushti is something which is anadi. It is not a linear concept of time. It is a cyclical concept of time. So that is why we talk about Srushti, Sthiti, and Laya. Now we have to read from here. Pratisansrujyamanascha. So from here we have to read. Pratisansrujyamanascha. Srushti is Srujana, Srushti, both one and the same. Pratisansrujyamana means that which are being resolved back. Pratisansrujyamana, those which are being resolved back. Pratisansrujyamanascha. How do they resolve? They resolve in the same way. They have evolved in a particular way, and exactly in the reverse direction they go. Exactly in the reverse direction. Tasminneva satta matre mahati atmani avasthaya. So they all merge into that mahati atmani. Mahatasma is Vedanta calls it Hiranyagarbha. We call it Mahat. Mahat is that linga matram, the first manifestation. Avasthaya. Then later what happens? Yat tat nisatta sattam. Yat tat, that which is. Yat tat nisatta sattam, which is beyond satta and asatta. What is satta and asatta? Let us see. Nisatta sattam. Then nisad asat, which is beyond sat and asat, which is neither sat nor asat. Then again, nirasat. It is definitely not asat. Asat means unreal. Definitely not unreal. Asat is unreal. Then avyaktam, alingam, pradhanam, tat pratiyanti. So they all merge into, finally they all merge into avyaktam, that is unmanifest. Alingam, absolutely no indication of its presence. That is what is pradhanam. Tat pratiyanti. So they resolve back into that. So now we see what is this yat tat nisatta sattam. So this satta, the normal meaning which we take is presence or existence. That is what we take. But here there is a technical meaning which is given by Vachaspati Mishra. VM is Vachaspati Mishra. He calls it Purushartha Kriya Kshamam Sat. Purushartha Kriya Kshamam Sat. That which is capable of achieving the Purushartha, that which is capable of doing some help to this Purusha is the person who is the Bhokta here. So Purushartha Kriya Kshamam, that which is capable of furnishing things, doing the work of this Purusha, that capacity or efficiency is called Sat. Tasya Bhavaha Satta. From that Sat, Tasya Bhavaha Satta. Satta is the ability or capacity or efficiency. I have translated it as efficiency. So Satta, the ability to enable Bhoga and liberation. What are the objects? Purushartha. What are the two main things? Bhoga and liberation. Bhoga and apavarga. Bhoga and liberation. So to the Purusha. Then again, even while, this translation is Yesha Tesham Lingamatra Parinamaha. So this is first is Lingamatram Parinama. Then again, Nisatta Sattam Cha Alinga Parinamaha iti. So in the beginning, there is a Lingamatra Parinama. They all merge into that Lingamatram, what is called Mahat. Then again, when they merge into that Nisatta Sattam, then that is called Alinga Parinama. That is, they are getting back into that Alinga or Prakriti or Pradhana. So the translation is, even while resolving back during Pralaya, they abide in the Mahat, the pure existence, and resolve into the indistinct. Indistinct is that Pradhanam, Alingam. Then, which is neither efficient nor efficient. Why, what is the meaning of efficient and efficient? We saw above. That is Purushartha Sadhakam. That ability to achieve Bhoga and Apavarga is efficiency. That is, when Prakriti is there, which has not yet evolved. Pradhanam is there, it is just not yet evolved. Or it has evolved only up to the level of Avishesha. It is of no use. So it is only when it evolves into the stage of Vishesha, then in this Vishesha, this Buddhi is there. In this, through this Buddhi, this Purusha is able to know. Purusha is able to be the Pratisamvedi. Purusha is able to be the knower. So that is what, that in that manner, it is achieving the Purushartha. So that is how it is efficient. So neither efficient nor inefficient. What is that stage? That is Alinga stage. Alinga stage is neither efficient nor inefficient. Now, why not inefficient? Because the ability is still there. For that also, I think one comment, one line I can read. One line from, what is this line? Yeah. That is Vachaspati Mishra writes about Nisatta Sattam. Etaduktam bhavati sattvarajastamasam samyavastha न क्वचित् पुरुषार्थः उपयुज्यते साम्यावस्था न क्वचित् पुरुषार्थः उपयुज्यते. So न क्वचित् पुरुषार्थः उपयुज्यते. That is samyavastha means where the evolution has not taken place. Prakriti is in that alinga stage. Iti na sati. So that is how it is called na sati. It is not sati. Then napi gagana kamalinivat tuchya swabhava. It is neither tuchya. It is not totally unreal or non-existent. It is there. It is there. It is very much there, but not seen. So natu gagana kamala nilavat. Gagana kamala is the flower in the lotus in the sky. Tena na asati api. It is not asati also. It is neither satta. There is no. It is neither satta nor you can't call it satta. You can't call it asatta. So it is slightly beyond. Then similarly, it is neither manifest nor existent. Sat and asat. These two words are manifest and unmanifest. Nissat, asat. Nirasat. It is not unreal. Then, it is not unreal. This transformation of gunas as mahat is called, what is called? Merely distinct. Merely distinct with lingamatra parinama. He said merely distinct. So this distinct also I will put it in italics so that the distinct is used as a sort of technical word here. The stage in which the gunas stay as neither existent nor non-existent is the alinga stage of transformation. So that is the last line. That is nissatta sattam cha alinga parinama iti. So here also nissatta sattam, I should translate it as neither efficient. Instead of saying existent, better to translate as efficient. Neither efficient nor inefficient is the alinga stage of transformation. So in this indistinct alinga stage, if the pradhanam or prakriti is not manifest to senses, as there are no activities of the gunas, so its presence is merely inferred. So that is that nissatta kattam, nirasat, nirasat, this, what is that line? Nissatta sattam, niras, nissatta sattam, nissadasat, nirasad. So these three things which he described. Then alingavasthayam na purushartho hetuhu. In that alingavastha is, that is where evolution has not yet taken place. In that primordial state, alingavasthayam na purushartha hetuhu. Purushartha is not the prime mover. Hetu here means purushartha has no role in that at that particular level. Na alingavasthayam adau purusharthata karanam bhavati iti. The same line he is explaining, he is slightly elaborating. It means that at that stage of alinga, in the beginning, that is prior to creation, the purpose of purusha does not exist as the prime mover. What is the purpose of the purusha? Bhoga and apavarga. Bhoga and apavarga, that is enjoyment and also liberation. These two things, they are not contemplated in that alinga stage, where purusha is independent, prakriti is also independent. It is only when they come together, then only some change takes place in the prakriti or pradhana. So purusharthata na karanam bhavati. Then na tasyaha purusharthata karanam bhavati iti na sau purushartha kruta iti nitya akhyayate. So that is the reason why prakriti or pradhanam is called a nitya. Why? Because the purpose of purusha is not the cause for the stage of alinga. Alinga is independently existing. Alinga is independently existing, whereas lingamatra, what is this, Avishesha, Vishesha, they all gradually, they all evolve in order to serve the purpose of Purusha. So that is the reason why there is Purusharthata in all those three stages, whereas Purusharthata is not there in the stage of Alinga. न तस्याः पुरुषार्थता कारणं भवति इति नासौ पुरुषार्थकृता इति नित्या आख्यायते. The purpose of Purusha is not the cause for the state of Alinga, and it is not for the purpose of Purusha, and hence it is called eternal, because it has nothing to do, it is not affected by that Purusha at that particular stage. So it is there, it is Nitya, it is there in that Nitya Avastha. Then Trayanam tu Avastha Visheshanam. Trayanam tu means on the other hand, Trayanam Avastha Visheshanam. For the other three stages, Avastha Vishesham is a stage. Avastha means a stage. Avastha Vishesha. What are those stages? Lingamatra, Avishesha, and Vishesha. So these three stages, Adavu Purusharthata Karanam Bhavati. So Purusharthata becomes the cause. So because of that Purushartha, this evolution or change or parinama takes place in them. Prior to that, when there is in that Lingamatna, in that Alinga stage, there is no Purusharthata. Whereas these other three stages, there is Purusharthata, because they are all contributing to the final development of Vishesha, final development of Vyakti with all these Indriyas, Buddhi, etc. And through this Buddhi, this Purusha is able to have this Bhoga and Apavarga. So Purusharthata Karanam Bhavati. Such a Artho Hetuhu Nimittam Karanam Bhavati iti Anitya Vyakhyayate. So such a Arthaha. So that sort of Purushartha becomes the Hetu or Nimittam Karanam, all one and the same. Hetuhu Nimittam Karanam, all one and the same. That is, it becomes the prime mover. For them, for all the three stages, the purpose of Purushartha is the cause, the motive or the source, and hence they are called Anitya. Anitya means non-eternal, transient, because they are all changing in nature. Whatever is changing in nature is called transient, non-eternal. Whereas Prakriti here is eternal. In Vedanta, we don't say Prakriti as eternal. Prakriti is Anadi, but Santam. It is Anadi, beginningless, no doubt, but it ends. It ends with what? It ends with enlightenment. So an enlightened person sees the whole universe, the entire Vishwam, he sees it as Brahman, as manifestation in Brahman. Whereas here, Prakriti also exists. So the motive or source, and hence they are called transient. Gunastu sarvadharmanupatinaha na pratyasthamayante na upajayante. Gunastu. But what about gunas? Gunahatu. What happens? Sarvadharmanupatinaha. They abide in all stages. Sarva dharma anupatinaha. So they abide in all these four stages. They are there in gunas, are there in that original pradhana stage. Alinga, that Lingamatra stage also they are there. Avishesha stage also they are there. And Vishesha stage also they are fully manifested. So they abide in all the stages. They neither disappear nor they disappear. Na pratyasthamayante. Astamayam is disappearing. Na upajayante. They are neither born nor do they disappear. Then Vyaktibhireva Atita Anagata Vyaya Agamavatibihi Gunanvayinibihi Upajanana Apaya Dharmakaha Iva Pratyava Bhasante. They appear as though they are appearing and dying, as though they are appearing, as though they are being born, and as though they are dying. So they do appear like that. What is this line? Vyaktibhireva Atita Anagata Vyaya Agamavatibihi Gunanvayinibihi. So this word Gunanvayinibihi is qualifying. It is the adjective for Vyaktibihi. Vyakti means Vyakta. Vyakta is manifestation. Vyakti is something which is manifested, which has manifested. So Vyaktibhireva, that means by manifestations. What type of manifestations? Gunanvayinibihi Vyaktibihi. So suppose I am a Vyakti and I am accompanied by gunas. I am not independently born. I am accompanied by gunas. Gunanvayi. When I am a Vyakti, invariably I am a Gunanvayi. Gunanvayi means there are the gunas which are there, which constitute me. So Gunanvayinibihi Vyaktibihi eva. And also what type? Atita, Anagata, past, present, etc. They come and go. The things are born. like Gita says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara, etc., etc. They take form, they disappear, they again take form, they disappear. So that is how it forms. Vyaktivireva atita anagata vyaya agamavati. Sometimes the guna is prominent, sometimes the guna is not prominent. Vyaya means spending away. That means it is not dominant. Agamavati. So again, the guna is dominant at a particular stage. Or it can also say, we can also say the beings themselves, the Vyaktis themselves, they just come and go. Vyaktis come, the Vyakti, this Vyaya and Agama, it can relate to Vyakti also. So with all these things, they appear, these gunas, they appear as Upajanana Apaya Dharmakaha Iva Pratyavabhasante. Pratyavabhasante means they appear, they shine. Avabhasa, means Prakasha. Our Pratyavabhasante means they all appear as what? Upajanana Apaya Dharmakaha. Upajanana Dharma, Apaya Dharma. Upajanana means being born. Apaya, Aya means Gati. Apaya means to depart. Apaya. So apaya dharmakaha. So they appear as though they have the nature of being born and then dying. So that is what. So by their manifestations, such as animate or inanimate objects, which are accompanied by the gunas in all stages, and again in past and future, and having growth and decline, they appear to have the nature of being born and dying. Then Gunanvayinihi is qualifying Vyaktivihi. Prakriti is eternal, various bodies appear, exist for a while and disappear. Yeah, Avyaktadini Bhutani Vyaktamadhyani Bharata. So this commentator, VB is Vijnana Vikshu. Vijnana Vikshu quotes this Gita line in his commentary. Then in his commentary on this Yoga Sutra, Yatha Devadatto Daridrati. He also giving a common example. Yatha Devadatto Daridrati. Devadatta gets poor. Kasmat. Why? Yataha Asya Mariyante Gavaha iti. So his bulls or cows, Gau can be a bull or cow. Okay, Yatosya Mariyante Gavaha iti. So his bulls have died. Gavameva Varanat Tasya Daridranam. Na Swarupahanat iti. Samaha Samadhihi. So Gavameva Varanat Tasya Daridranam. Because of the death of these cows or bulls, so his poverty is only due to that, not due to Swarupa Hani, not due to his own Swarupa. He has not died. His Swarupa has not departed. So similarly, the same analogy works here also. Samaha Samadhihi. Samadhi means Samadhanam. Samadhi is Samadhanam here, not our Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So this is iti samas samadhi. Samaha means same, equal, the same response, the same reply, or on the same analogy. Here also we have to think. We are now talking about the gunas. You see, gunas too. So we are now talking about the gunas. So the next line said, okay, Vyaktivireva, etc., etc. So then again, Yatha Devadatto Daridrati. The same gunas. They don't die. Or they are not born, but then they appear as though they are born and they die. Then Lingamatram Alingasya Pratyasannam. Now he is talking about the Mahat Tattva. Lingamatram Alingasya Pratyasannam. Pratyasannam is very close. Asanna. Asanna is very, very close. Pratyasannam. Then Tatra Tat Samsrishtam Vivichyate Krama Anativrutte Tatra. So being connected to that. So earlier also I was saying, when that parinama takes place, it is not as though this Mahat Tattva is totally departing from, disconnecting itself from that, what is this, Alinga or Pradhana. While being connected to that, it is also evolving. Similarly, other evolutes also, while being connected to Alinga, Linga Matra, they do evolve. Similarly, these Visheshas, while being connected with the Avisheshas, they do evolve. So they are connected to that, and at the same time they do evolve because they draw the same properties. So being connected to that, Tatra Tat Samsrushtam. What is this Samsrushtam? Being attached to that, Samsrushta. Samsarga we say. Samsarga is attachment. Samsrushta. Samsrushtam. Vivichyate, it evolves. Krama anativrutte, without violating that sequence of evolution. Krama anativrutti. Kramasya anativrutti means not going beyond, not violating, not deviating from the sequence. Then even this avisheshaha also tatha, likewise, shad avisheshaha lingamatre samsrushtaha vivichyante parinamakkrama niyamat. These shad avisheshaha, what are these shad avisheshaha? Pancha tanmatraha and also that asmita. Pancha tanmatra and asmita. So these are the shad avisheshaha. They are there attached to that lingamatra. They are there, they are having their link with that Mahattattva. And again, they do evolve into the Visheshas. The one end is attached to Mahat, the other end is Vishesha. So like that, they also evolve. Samsrushtaha vivichyante parinamakrama niyamat. As per that order, as per the order of parinama. Parinama is that evolution, as per that order of evolution. Tatha teshu avishesheshu bhutendriyani samsrushtaani vivichyante. Tatha, in a similar manner, teshu avishesheshu, in those avisheshas, that is panchatanmatras and also this asmita. From that asmita, bhutendriyani samsrushtaani. So all these bhutendriyas, samsrushtaani, again they are also attached to that avishesha. And then they evolve. So similarly, the six unqualified abide in the Mahat but evolve in a sequence. Likewise, while abiding in the unqualified, the elements and senses, they do evolve. Tathasha uttam purastat. So the same has been said earlier, tathasha uttam purastat. Na visheshebhyah param tattvantaramastiti visheshanam nasti tattvantara parinamaha. So na visheshebhyah param tattvantaramasti. Beyond these visheshaha, we have seen 4 levels. One is alinga, lingamatra, avishesha and vishesha. So these 4 levels. And beyond visheshas, there is no further change. There is no further parinama. There is no further tattva. Only 24 tattvas. Visheshebhyah param na tattvantaramasti iti visheshanam nasti tattvantara parinamaha. So there is no tattvantara parinama. There is no transformation into something else for these visheshaha. Tesham tu dharma lakshana vyavastha parinamaha vyakhyayishyante. So their dharma lakshana parinama, what are their properties, what are their what is their nature, lakshana, parinama, avastha parinama. So what are their transformations, etc. Vyakhyayishyante means they will be told later. The changes in the properties, dharma, lakshana, their nature, and also parinama and stages of the qualified, they will be told later. That is in the third pada, that is Vibhuti pada. Vibhuti pada, tentatively, we are not planning to do the entire text because only up to Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga completes with the first few sutras of the third pada, that is Vibhuti pada. And thereafter, vibhutis, one person's appearing as several people. So various vibhutis, Dura Drushti, Dura Shravana, etc., etc. So we move into the realm of what is called mysticism. We do not know. I have not seen people who have got those qualities. So tentatively, I have not yet thought of telling all that. Because all these things, at a philosophical level, we can visualize. But those vibhutis, I don't know. We have to, if I'm able to accept that also at a philosophical level, then we'll go through that. So tentative, that is 3-13. So they will be told later, later in the text. Then we come to the next sutra, Vyakhyatam Drishyam. So Drishyam has been told in the 18th sutra, the 19th sutra. Now we are coming to what is called Drashta. What is this Drashta? In Vedanta we call him, the same, Druk we say, the seer, the same translation here also. The seer we can say, the knower we can say, a knower and a known are knowable, or seer and the seen, like that. So Vyakhyatam Drishyam atha drashtu swarupavadharanartham idam arabhyate. Drashtuhu swarupa avadharanartham. So in order to know very clearly, avadharana means very clearly know, in order to clearly know the nature of that drashta, idam arabhyate, this sutra is commencing. Drashta drushimatraha shuddhopi pratyayanupasyaha. So this is the very, very key thing, key sutra. Drashta Drushimatraha. The basic difference between Vedanta and also Sankhya. Drashta, that is this knower, is Drushimatraha, which is of the nature of pure consciousness. Drushimatraha, pure consciousness. It is near pure consciousness. But Shuddhopi, Shuddha api, though it is Shuddha, though it is pure. Pure means untouched by any of these raga, dvesha, untouched by any of these qualities of the mind, raga, dvesha, vinivesha, etc., klesha, karma, nothing is there. All these are properties of the mind. What is this? Like the Upanishad statement says, kamas sankalpo vichikitsa dhihi bhihi ityeta sarvam manayeva. There are some more words there. Dhrutihi, adhrutihi, etc. All those things, kama, sankalpa, vichikitsa, dhrutihi, adhrutihi, all those things, they are all properties of the mind. They are not the properties of the Purusha. So similarly here also, Drushimatraha, Shuddha. Shuddha is untouched by all those things. But then, Pratyaya Anupashyaha, Anupashyati iti Anupashyaha. So it is again a strange coinage. We see in Upanishads also. Yada Pashyaha. We see that statement in Kathopanishad. There is one word called Pashyaha. So similarly, Pratyaya Anupashyaha. Pratyayan Anupashyati iti Anupashyaha. So he is identifying himself with the buddhi, and then he is appearing as, he is thinking as though, or he is, because of this identification with the buddhi, he feels as though the sukha dukkha are his own nature. Pratyaya anupasyaha. Buddhehe pratisambedi. We got that word called buddhi pratisambedi earlier. Earlier we got a term called pratisambedi. So of course here also we are going to see the term. So pratyaya anupasyaha. So it is the witness. We say that it is the witness for the experiences of buddhi. Then the translation is, the knower is pure consciousness, but though pure, unconnected with the vrittis, etc., it is the witness of the experiences of buddhi. Drushimatra iti drukshaktireva visheshana aparamrushta ityarthaha. Drushimatra. Matra means exclusive. Matra. Drushimatra. Like tanmatra, that alone. It is just merely druk swarupa. It is just pure consciousness. What is the difference between pure consciousness and buddhi? Pure consciousness is something like a sunlight. Sunlight which is illumining everything. Sunlight is illumining everything. Whereas in the light, in that sunlight, we are able to see. Buddhi is something which is, it is a reflection of that consciousness in another instrument. Something like a sort of mirror or something, or a water body. So because of that reflection, and if the water body is moving, the reflection also appears as though it is moving. If the water is turbid, the reflection also looks turbid. So depending on the quality of the water, depending on the quality of the reflecting material, that light undergoes change. So similarly, here also, that pure consciousness is surely not undergoing any change, but it appears to undergo some change. Drushimatraha drukshaktireva visheshana aparamrushtaha. It is untouched by any of these visheshanas. Not vishesha here, visheshana. Visheshana is adjectives. It is untouched by any other qualities like greed, desire, kama, sankalpa, etc. So visheshana aparamrushta iti. Sa purushaha buddhe pratisambedi. So that sort of purusha is the witness, pratisambedi, buddhe pratisambedi. We got this word earlier also. That is, because of identification with the buddhi, it is thinking that reflection itself is my own self. So the sunlight is appearing in that pond, and the sun himself is thinking, yes, I am that. So that reflection is identifying with the reflection, and then thinking that all that sukha, dukkha, they are mine. Buddhehe pratisambedi. Such purusha is the witness of the experiences of buddhi. Buddhehe pratisambedi. Then sa buddhehe na sarupaha na atyantam virupaha iti. And because of this pratisamveditvam, because of this quality of identification with the buddhi, why this purusha, I am not saying, I have not translated it as he. Purusha, I have not used the word he, I have used only word it, because purusha is also somewhat similar to Atma. And purusha is also somewhat similar to Brahma in Vedanta. Like we use the word it, we use the pronoun it to say, to indicate Brahma. So here also I have used that word it. Though Brahman, of course, in Vedanta, Brahman is one, whereas here Purusha Nanatvam, Purushas are too many. But even then, Purusha is that entity called intelligence, pure intelligence. So that is the reason why I am not using the word he, because if we use the word he, our understanding may not be very clear. I am using the word it. So sa buddhehe saru, sa, that saha, that pronoun in Sanskrit, it can also mean it, saha. Sa buddhehe saru, na sarupaha, na atyantam virupaha iti. That Purusha is not similar in nature to Buddhi. Na sarupaha. Some sarupaha means having the same rupam, is sarupa. Virupa, having a different rupa. It is neither similar in nature to Buddhi and also not totally dissimilar. Why? He is going to explain why. Natavat sarupaha. It is not sarupa. Sarupa means it is not similar. Then kasmat. Why? Jnata jnata vishayatvat parinaminihi buddhihi. So buddhi, what type of, what is its, what are its limitations? So when I see my pen and when I'm thinking about this pen, my mind takes the shape of this pen. Vishayakara karita. That is common to both Sankhya and also to Vedanta. Buddhi, mind takes that Vishayakara karita. That is, it assumes the shape of this object. And when I move on to another thing, so this thing vanishes and I move to somebody else, something else. And I move to something else, and the earlier things are, the vrittis are gone. So the vrittis are just coming and going, coming and going. So the vrittis are jnata, ajnata. When I am seeing that, I am not seeing this. When I am seeing this, I am not seeing that. This is jnata, that is ajnata. And something else is jnata, then again something else becomes ajnata. So jnata jnata vishayatvat parinaminihi buddhi. The buddhi has to constantly change into that vishayakara in order to cognize things. Whereas this intelligence, this purusha tattva, this tattva called purusha, it is something which it doesn't change. It is like the sunlight. It is like the sunlight that's not undergoing change. It is the illuminer of that buddhi. It is always there with the buddhi. It is always seeing the buddhi. It is always illumining the buddhi. So jnata jnata vishayatvat parinaminihi buddhihi. Because he means because buddhi is parinamini. Parinamini means which is of the nature of undergoing change. Why jnata ajnata vishayatvat? You see one object, you can't see another thing. You see this, you can't see this, etc. Tasyascha vishayah gavadihi ghatadirva jnatascha ajnatascha iti parinamitvam darshayati. Tasyascha vishayah, of that buddhi. Tasyaha, because buddhi is strilinga. Tasyascha vishayah. Vishaya can be gavadiva, ghatadirva, it can be cow, it can be ghata, or what, anything else. Jnatascha, ajnatascha, sometimes it is known, sometimes it is not known. Sometimes when I see one thing, I don't see another. So parinamitvam darshayati. Buddhi is constantly changing shapes into those objects. Then next, when buddhi knows an object, it assumes the form of that object. The other objects are unknown at that time. So it has to change in order to know another object. So if it has to know another object, it has to again undergo change. This shows the changing nature of the buddhi. Then sada jnata vishayatvam tu purushasya aparinamitvam paridipayati. Sada jnata vishayatvam. It is always of the nature of the knower. Purusha is always of the nature of the knower. Sada jnata vishayatvam. He is always the jna. He is always the knower. Purushasya, that shows, that illustrates paridipayati. Paridipayati means it throws light on. Deepanam. Deepa is lamp, isn't it? Paridipayati. It throws light on. Or, it throws light on. Purushasya aparinamitvam. The unchanging nature of that Purusha. Purusha is always there. Yeah, is always there. Whether in cognizing this pencil, in cognizing something else, but the consciousness is always there. Then nahi buddhischa nama purusha vishayascha syad agruhita gruhitacha iti siddham purushasya sada jnata vishayatvam tatascha aparinamitvam iti. Nahi buddhischa nama purusha vishayascha. Buddhi, what is buddhi? It is always purusha vishaya. For this purusha, it is always vishaya. That is, Purusha, this consciousness is always illumining that buddhi. It is always there. It is always illumining in all cognitions. Purusha Vishayasya Syat Agruhita Gruhita Cha. Na, this na has to be brought here. This nahi buddhi Purushasya Agruhita Gruhita va nahi bhavati. That is, it is not as though buddhi is noticed at one time and it is not noticed at some other time by Purusha. It is not as though Purusha knows buddhi at one time and does not know buddhi at another time. Purusha always knows buddhi. So let me read out the translation. The buddhi which is always known by Purusha, the buddhi which is always known by Purusha is not something known at some time and not known at another time. It is always known. It is not something known at some time and not known at another time. Hence it is clear that buddhi is always known to Purusha. Nahi buddhischa nama Purusha Vishayascha Syad. That Syad also has to be connected to na. Na Syat. Agruhita va na Syat. Buddhi Purusha Agruhita va na Syat. It is always there. Iti siddham Purushasya sada jnata vishayatvam. So it is very clearly established. Siddham, it is very clear. Sada jnata vishayatvam. It is always jnata. Then tatasya, and from that aparinamitvam. So when you say that it is always the knower, then it may automatically means that it is unchanging in nature. Tatasya aparinamitvam iti. Then tatasya, from that, we can also say from that. Okay. Then the buddhi, which is always known by Purusha, means that Purusha is the illumining agent for all cognitions of the buddhi. Then the objects may change, but Purusha remains same. Example of some standard example we see in Vedanta. Then kincha parartha buddhihi samhatyakaritvat swartha Purusha iti. One more difference between Purusha and buddhi is parartha buddhihi. Parartha, buddhi is for the purpose of Purushartha, for that Purushartha, in the sense that it has to bring bhoga and apavarga. Buddhi in one direction it brings bhoga, in another direction it brings apavarga. So parartha buddhihi samhatyakaritvat. Samhatyakaritvat means it is associated by so many other things. Sanghata. What is sanghata? Sanghata is an aggregate. It is a gathering of so many factors. Suppose sanghata. Suppose there is an assemblage, let us say. Assemblage is another word. Sanghata, for the word sanghata, assemblage or aggregate. Samhatyakaritvat, so I translate it as buddhi is always for the purpose of Purusha, because it is an aggregate of associates like klesha, kama, vasana, etc. So when my buddhi is working, it is working with a lot of backload, with a lot of background, with a lot of say vasanas, with all the baggage behind me. It may be cultural baggage. Yeah, we talk about the cultural baggage and all this. So cultural baggage, my own vasanas, my own kleshas, my own karma, so many things. So all this baggage, it all constitutes my buddhi. So buddhi samhatyakaritvat. Then swartha, then samhatyakaritvat. Then swartha Purusha iti. Purusha is swartha. Swartha means does not mean selfish. It is something absolutely independent. Parartha buddhi. Buddhi works for the purpose of Purusha. And Purusha is somebody who is swartha, just totally independent, not working for somebody else. Then tatha sarvartha adhyavasayikatvat triguna buddhihi trigunatvat achetana iti. Tatha sarvartha adhyavasayikatvat. So it is the bringer of all things. Sarva artha adhyavasayikatvat. It is the bringer of all things. And adhyavasaya. Adhyavasaya is the nishaya jnana, definitive knowledge. It gives the definitive knowledge of various things. Determinate knowledge or definitive knowledge of various things. And it is trigunatmika. Trigunatmika, it is again those having these three gunas. So trigunatvad achetana, because it is in fact it is a conglomerate, or it is an assemblage, or it is an aggregate. Conglomerate is a better thing, I think. So it is a mixture of these three gunas. That is why it is achetana, because pradhanam is basically achetana, insentient. Then gunanam tu upadrashta purushaha ityatah na sarupah. Gunanam tu upadrashta purushah. So this Purusha is Upadrashta. Upadrashta cha Anumanta cha we see in Gita also. Upadrashta is somebody who is overseeing. Upadrashta. Somewhat like the Adhyaksha. Adhyaksha in any meeting, what is Adhyaksha? Adhyaksha Adhi Ikshate. He is somebody who is just seeing everything. Adhyaksha is Adhi Ikshate. So he is somebody who is overseeing everything. So Upadrashta Purusha Ityataha na Sarupaha. So Buddhi, it is not exactly the same. And he is also going to say not exactly dissimilar also. That we'll see later. We'll see, come to that. So the translation I'll read first. Buddhi is always for the purpose of the other, Purusha, because it's an aggregate of Kama, Klesha, Karma, etc. And Purusha exists for itself, not for the purpose of anything else. Buddhi bringing a determinate knowledge of all things, Sarvartha Dhyavasayika, such as calmness, fierceness, and dullness. That is Shanta, Ghora, and Mudha, representing Sattva, Rajas, and Tamoguna. Calmness, fierceness, and dullness means Shanta, Ghora, and Mudha are the three terms which are used in Sankhya literature. So that is Sattva, Rajas, Tamogunas. It is a composite of the three gunas, and hence it is insentient. The witness of the gunas is the Purusha, and hence it is not similar to Buddhi. And again, it is not totally dissimilar also. Is again we are seeing Astu Tarhi Virupa iti. Okay, if that is so, let us say it is Virupa. It is totally dissimilar. No, it is not so. Na Atyantam Virupaha, not altogether. Na Atyantam is not altogether Virupa, not altogether different. Why? Kasmat Shuddhopi asau Pratyayanupashyaha yataha. Yataha, because Shuddhopi asau Pratyayanupashyaha. Though it is pure, it is identifying, it is the knower of all experiences of the Buddhi. It is identifying itself with the experiences of the Buddhi. So that is how it is pratyayasya, pratyayanam, anupashyaha. It is actually a sort of sympathetic vibration, whatever we may call. Buddhi is undergoing all those things. Whereas Purusha thinks that it is undergoing all those things. Then pratyayam bauddham anupashyati tam anupashyan atadatmapi tadatmaka iva pratyava bhasate. Pratyayam bauddham anupashyati. Bauddham pratyayam means bauddham is relating to buddhi. Relating to buddhi. Bauddham pratyayam means the buddhi's pratyayas, the experiences of the buddhi. Anupashyati. Anupashyati means it sees, it knows, it feels. Then tam anupashyan, while feeling all that, while identifying with all that, tam anupashyan, atadatma api, tadatmaka iva pratyava bhasate. Atadatma api, though it's by nature it is totally different. Atma here means nature. Atadatma. So though it is of a different nature, so it appears as similar. Tadatmaka iva, it appears similar in nature to buddhi. Tadatmaka iva pratyava bhasate. It shines, it appears like that. Though in reality, it is of a different nature. I hope you are following. Buddhi, pratyayam buddhi, bauddham pratyayam. Bauddham pratyayam is relating to buddhi. Then tathacha uktam, aparinaminihi bhoktru shaktihi, apratisankramacha, parinaminyarthe pratisankranteva, tad vrutti manupatati. Let us break it and read. Aparinaminihi bhoktru shaktihi. So this bhoktru shakti means Purusha. Purusha, who is the enjoyer of all these things, who is actually the bhokta of all these things. Bhoktru Shaktihi. Apratisankrama. Apratisankrama means it is the buddhi which is moving from object to object. It is not the intelligence, it is not the consciousness which is moving from object to object. It is buddhi which is moving from object to object. My body-mind complex, it wants idli today, it wants tomorrow, I want next minute, I want some jalebi, another minute I want something else. So my buddhi is moving from object to object. That is pratisankrama. Pratisankrama means moving from, jumping from one to another. Apratisankrama, Bhoktru Shakti, this consciousness or intelligence or Purusha is apratisankrama. It is illumining all things, no doubt, and also experiencing all things. But by itself, it is not doing anything. So apratisankramacha. Then parinamini arthe pratisankranteva tad vrutti manupashyati. Parinamini arthe. It appears as though transiting by following the vruttis of buddhi. Buddhi vritti is jumping from object to object. So parinamini arthe. in that artha or object which is changing. So this Purusha also, it is appearing as though Pratisankranta iva. Pratisankranta iva. So this Bhoktur Shakti, yeah, here also that feminine form is used because we are referring to Bhoktur Shakti. We are not referring to Purusha. Bhoktur Shakti. Shakti is Strilinga. So that is why it is also Pratisankranta iva. Pratisankranteva. Strilinga is used here. Pratisankranteva. Tad vruttim anupatati. So tad vruttim means buddhehe vruttim shakti api anupatati. This Bhoktru Shakti also is following that. It is imitating that. It is identifying, not imitating, identifying with that. Pratisankranteva tad vruttim anupatati. Tasyascha prapta chaitanya upagraha rupayah buddhi vruttehe. Again a very big expression. Tasyascha buddhi vruttehe. Let us see this. Of that buddhi vritti. Tasyascha buddhi vruttehe. Of that buddhi vritti. What type of buddhi vritti is it? Prapta chaitanya upagraha rupayah. Because of its own reflection, because of my own reflection, that buddhi vritti has formed. But then I am feeling that it is my own nature. Because of my reflection, some buddhi vritti has formed. Because the vrutyavahitam chaitanyam, vrutyavachinnam chaitanyam also we know, isn't it? Three forms of chaitanya. That is vishayavachinnam chaitanyam, chaitanya which is associated with the object. And again, buddhyavachinnam chaitanyam, vrutyavachinnam chaitanyam, isn't it? There is what is called vrutyavachinnam. So this vrutti also is there. So tasyascha prapta chaitanya upagraha rupaya. This is this reflection. Prapta chaitanya upagraha rupa. Let me see how I have translated. By imitating it appears as transient. By imitating that vrutti of buddhi, which appears as sentient. Prapta chaitanya, which appears as sentient. Prapta chaitanya. Upagraha rupaya. Upagraha means combining or contact. Upagraha rupaya. So, which appears as sentient because of the reflection of Purusha. That is, Prapta Chaitanya Upagraha Rupaya Rupa Buddhi Vritti. That is, that Buddhi Vritti which is appearing as sentient. By itself, it is not sentient. Because of reflection of Purusha in it. Then, Buddhi Vritti Anukara Matrataya. Because of identification with that. Buddhi Vritti Avishishta. He Jnana Shakti Jnana Vrutti Ityakhyayate. Buddhi Vrutti Avishishta. Avishishta means not different from that. So this Jnana Vrutti appearing as though it is totally not different from Buddhi Vrutti. So Buddhi Vrutti, we are calling it Jnana Vrutti only. Buddhi Avachinnam, Vrutti Avachinnam Chaitanya, when we say, we are not talking as though Buddhi Vrutti is something and Jnana Vrutti is something. But here he is, for analysis sake, he is just showing a difference. Jnana is there. That Jnana Vrutti, we say that it is called Jnana Vrutti. So that is how it is. We are, instead of calling it Buddhi Vrutti, we are calling it Jnana Vrutti. So let us read the translation. The experiencer or Bhokta is indeed unchanging and not transiting in nature, not shifting from object to object as the Buddhi does, but it appears as though transiting by following Vrittis of Buddhi and by imitating the Vrittis of Buddhi, which appears as sentient. Because of reflection of Purusha in it, consciousness appears as not different from the Vritti of Buddhi. So it's a rather complicated analysis, but all the entire sutra, the only one point, that is Buddhi, this Purusha is no doubt Shuddha. Though he is Shuddha, he is appearing as though he is changing and Bhaktya Anupashyaha. He is seeing all the experiences, he is knowing all the experiences. So Kartrutvam is not there, whereas Bhoktrutvam is there. So I think we will stop here. Tadartha eva drishyasya atma. We will say, not yet written the note for this. So we will continue tomorrow. So here, any other point, let us see. The Shuddhopi, Shuddha. Shuddha, when we say Shuddha, we can recall all that Nirguna, Nirakara, etc. Because consciousness is something which is Nirguna, Nirakara, all those things we can take. Then again, Jnana Vrutti. Yeah. So I think we'll close here. Any question or anything?
Thank you, sir. Sumichi is asking, sir, I did not follow. How can Purusha be the prime mover of three stages? I had understood Purusha as an alipta witness like Brahman.
Yeah. Purusha is the prime mover. Let me see what we have written. Purusha is the illumining agent. Purusha is not, the Purusha, it is also clear that Purusha is unchanging in nature. Sada Jnata Vishayatvam Tanatavat. I think it is in the same sutra, I think not in the earlier sutra. What have I written? It has to change in order to know into another object. Yeah, three Parinama, yeah, earlier sutra. We are talking about the earlier sutra where Parinama is taking place. Where that Parinama, when that Parinama takes place, in that Alinga stage, Purusha is not the prime mover. Whereas the other three stages, Purusha becomes the prime mover because of that Purusha, the other the Purusha, because of that Purusha means in order to achieve that Purushartha. Because in order to achieve Purushartha, that thing is evolving. In order to achieve that Bhoga and Apavarga, the other things are evolving. So that is the reason why Purusha is said to be the prime mover. So that is in that way only. So let me see. Yeah, Purusha is the prime mover. It is called transient, Alinga, eternal, the purpose of. Yeah, this is the line. Alinga avasthayam na purushartho hetuhu. In that Alinga avastha, purushartha is not the hetu, Purusha, because that Alinga is totally independent. Na Alinga avasthayam adav purusharthata karanam bhavati. So in that Alinga avastha, the purpose of Purusha is not seen at all. Whereas in the other three avasthas, Prayanam to avastha visheshanam, yeah, here it is. Prayanam to avastha visheshanam, in these three avastha visheshas, that is Lingamatra, Savishesha and Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, Avishesha and Vishesha. So in these three stages, the very evolution has taken place only for Purushartha. That evolution takes place only for Purushartha. Because that Asmita is there. Asmita, in that Asmita, the reflection of it, the reflection of consciousness is there. Because of the reflection of consciousness, then again that Asmita says, okay, I want this, I want that. And again, all these Indriyas, they are developed. So in that way, Purusha becomes the prime mover. Purusha becomes the cause. Purusha becomes the cause. Instead of saying the cause, I have used the word prime mover. So, avastha visheshanam adav purusharthata karanam bhavati. And purusharthata, that is the achieving purushartha, becomes the karanam, becomes the prime mover, becomes the cause for the subsequent evolution. Sacha artha hetuhu nimittam karanam bhavati iti anitya akhyayate. So this they are all called anitya because of that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes.
I don't see any other questions today apart from this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.